Hello, 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 and welcome to the weekly show. I'm Scary, your grateful host, and this is a show I normally do for patrons, where we answer patron questions. I do updates and talk about things that have happened in my Warhammer 40k journey or whatever we're talking about at that point in time. And then I do a list building segment where patrons get to submit army lists and I help them with like a list clinic. I read through the list, I give ideas and thoughts, and it's essentially a tool that some of the patrons use to essentially pick my brain while they're learning how to build lists, or they want to build a list for a league or a tournament or anything like that. I am finally back. This is a show we normally do every so often on Fridays, usually Fridays, when I'm not traveling or going to tournaments. It is season 4, episode 4, and it's finally back, or I'm finally back. It's finally back. I am finally back from the LVO LGT madness that I had. So, first we're going to talk a little bit about my journey, LVO LGT. Then we're going to talk a little bit, we're going to go into Patron questions. There are tons of questions that all of you submitted. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to breaking it down and talking about stuff and discussion points and things like that as well. And of course, hello chat, welcome. Now, this is normally a Patron exclusive. Every once in a while, I do these for all of you, the public as well, so that you can see what you're missing out. Of course, the best way to support what I do is on Patreon, so thank you so much to all the patrons without whom none of this would be possible. The links are down below if you want to support and hop on and get onto the Discord and get all the cool perks and stuff like that as well. And of course, help me build content or make stuff. Yeah. Other than that, shout out to Red Dragon, who basically funded my ITC season this season. And with that, let's dive right in, shall we? Hello, everybody in chat. We've got Falls, Heaven's Teeth, Paulie, Principal, hello, Double Rainbow, hi, Jonathan, Max, hello, Michael, welcome, welcome, welcome. I did not get sick. Yeah, you know, something that I did is, I don't know if this this camera is a little busted, but something that I did notice is I took like a vitamin supplement every day while I was traveling, and so like a vitamin C and D, like immune system supplement. And I made a conscious effort to like try and eat fruit and vegetables and stuff, and I really wanted to make sure that I tried to stay healthy. I think it really helped when it came to um, keeping healthy, when it came to like not getting sick for the trip. So far, not sick. You know, so yeah, it's cool. Hello, Brent. What's going on? Bringing the Drukhari up in the list. You're very welcome. It's been very fun. I'm currently ranked number 2 in the entire planet. I think. Still number 2. That's cool. That's so cool. I did that with Index Drukhari. That's like that's a badge of honor for me. Hey AJ, what's going on? Yes, a vitamin a day keeps the Nurgle away. But let's talk about the LGT. So first I went to LGT, which was England, and it was really, really fun. Yeah, I know, it's so close. It's going to come down to the World Championships of Warhammer. This was the venue. So the venue for the LGT, it's a giant track and field, which is really fun because it's like concave. It kind of like goes into like a little bowl, which is really funny. A good venue, you know, it's comfortable, like not overly loud. It was very crowded once it got filled with people. Ah, speak of the devil, Mr. Innes. Got to see him there. There's Joe in the background from War Games Live. Had a great time just meeting and chatting and talking with people, which was really fun. You know, this is my my infamous lose on round 1 game, which, you know, I snapped a picture. I don't really take a lot of videos when I'm trying to perform at a tournament because, you know, I'm trying to like really focus. So with some of these large tournaments, I just take pictures. But this is the game I lost. And oh man, just round 1 against MSU, just MSU Custodes. Oh my goodness gracious. It was heartbreaking. But, you know, I buttoned down and I was like, okay, time to get it all done. And you know, so that was that. Then I ended up playing against some Tau. So Tau was really good. That was like a good matchup for me. Ended up kind of destroying the Tau. Aha, guess who that is? That is Paul is bad at stuff. He's got his goofy shirt. Really funny. Him and I are going to do a collaboration in a couple weeks. We do like a podcast collab and stuff. So, yeah, thank you, Richard Wallace. Really appreciate it. All those 4-up saves, Charles. It happens. It wasn't really the 4-up saves as much as his list was like precisely designed to annihilate me, which is just kind of like how it worked. Um, and then we have my Space Wolf game. So this is a second to last game. The first game on the Sunday against Space Wolves, and I was very pleased at how I played this game because it's hidden supplies, and I scored quite a bit of primary. I was able to stop him from taking the score away from me using screens and stuff, and so I'm very, very pleased at how I played this game. And then this was one of my games. I played against Agents of the Imperium. Now that was a wild game. Or this might have been my first game of Sunday. Wild game, so many models. There's like 200 models on the table. I tabled them. I tabled this list in like 3.5 turns. Crazy how fast I was able to kill all of the agents. Hey Animal, what's going on? Then we did our infamous cool... this was awesome. So we basically tried to reach out to as many of the folks that were playing Drukhari, the Archons, Paulie, Sky Serpent, basically put up a blast, and we were talking about it earlier. So we organized this. We got together all the Archons for a little picture, which then I did at LVO as well. So this was really cool. And so everybody brought their Archon over during lunchtime, and we took like a group picture. And I want to do this every time we go to like a tournament, and there's like multiple Drukhari players there. I just want to, it'd be really cool just to showcase like how varied our characters are and stuff, eh? Joe, what advice do you have for players new to Drukhari coming up from Marines? Hide. Hide and everything is going to die. That's my advice. So that was really cool. And this, of course, was my last game where I played against, this was game number 5. I played against Empress Children. This was a crazy game where I killed, this was right after my first turn. As you can see, my beast pack is like right in there. I had killed a Demon Prince, a whole unit of Noise Marines, a Rhino, a whole squad. Like, I killed so much in my first turn. It was unreal. And it just basically made the rest of the game a lot easier. So, that's Paulie, of course, Sky Serpent. We're so serious. Look at us. So that was really fun. And it was just really fun to, like, see everybody and whatnot as well. And I don't know why it took it to that, but... Oh, quick. Oh, that was Vegas. Hold on one second. And no, and then that's right. I have to go to the other. I don't know why it started it in a weird spot, but there we go. Okay, so this is of course Sacco, which was awesome. Playing David Gaylord was playing as Black Templars, and Sacco. This was I think either the quarterfinals or semifinals. This is really cool because it was really awesome to see Dark Eldar get so far in the rankings. We got Paulie make it to the shadow round. We had Sacco make it all the way to the finals. And you could tell that their lists were just built for this terrain format a lot better than mine was. They had the big core of the Archon, which was very good in this terrain format, actually. That giant court, like I had kind of like decided not to take it because it was too many points. And, you know, it is what it is. I feel like if I win that first game, though, I would have had a great chance at making it all the way. And then I got to live stream with Joe. I live streamed a little bit of the game with Boris, I think, and then the finals. That was fun. I had a ton of fun, like shoutcasting with Joe from War Games Live. So if you want to go watch it, it was a great time. Super fun. This is Sacco's army. I took some like pictures of his army because it looks so cool. It's like really nicely done, well painted, looked beautiful. So I was like, this is the dead pile. Awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed watching it as well. Okay, so yeah. And then we traveled over to LVO. I ran into Ben Jones. We were on the same flight, so we ended up having food. That was really good. And of course, moving on, more folks from across the pond. Future career as a sportscaster. maybe once I retire, right? It'll be like me just sportscasting. This was LVO, and So flew over from London to Vegas. It was a 10.5 hour flight. It was a long flight. Vegas was hey Cosmic, what's going on? Vegas was about half the size as it was in January, February. So it was about 500 people, which is still a very big event. But look at this. All the tables were like, they were standalone tables. That was mint. No back-to-back sardine tables. It was the most comfortable major I've been into in such a long time. It was awesome. Like space to walk around, didn't have to worry about running around a giant aisle. It was awesome. We had this, so Russell and Ben, we had this, we went to this like nerd bar or something like that, and that was really fun. There was like a get together with like social media people and TOs with the GW crew, so that was really fun. The like Thursday night or something before the event. By the way, Ben Jurek over here, he is a fantastic cook and like spoiled me. He made like Wagyu tomahawk steaks and just, oh man, he's like literally spoiled me with food. Yeah, it was a nerd bar. It was literally a nerd themed bar. Like it was a bar. I don't drink, but I was just hanging out. But like they had like the bar, and then there was like glass cutouts in the bar, and there was like Warhammer armies, and there was like paraphernalia and stuff like that. And it was like karaoke night or something. So it was really nice. I liked LVO at like the size it was. So this was of course my LVO army. Thanks to Ben for loaning me a little tray that I could use while I was at LVO, and it was the last hurrah of my Beast Pack and Uri and Rakarth. So I was having a lot of fun. Finally got like a full Beast Pack, of course, with like actual Razorwing flocks and stuff. So that was really entertaining. And I did take a couple of pictures of some of the other Dark Eldar armies out there. Whenever I see like a Dark Eldar army in the wild, I'm like, ooh, I snap a pic. So I'm not sure if I got all of them. I definitely didn't get all of them. And this was my first game. One of those is familiar. This is my first game into Deathwatch. And, funny enough, LVO, I lose at LVO, lost like in my LVO early in the year to Deathwatch. So first game at LVO is against Deathwatch, which I end up winning this game, and then I lose in the quarterfinals again against Deathwatch again. Ah! it's like why? What is going on? And it was great. Look at how much space we had. It was fantastic. LVO was really fun. The new venue for LVO is phenomenal. There's so much space. The parking was great. It was easy to get to. I like the fact that it's not like hooked up to a casino because it's just like there wasn't like smoke everywhere and stuff. Oh, it was just great. I did get best Drukari. Heck yeah, that's right. I got it. Yeah, that was me. And so that was cool. Got a little plaque for that. Although apparently, if I would have gotten my army judged for paint, I probably would have gotten best overall. Whoops-a-daisy. But you have to kind of like you're gonna have to go get it. Like you had to like go get you have to find a judge and get that done. Anyway, so I was on the stream a couple of times on the GW stream. I was on the tabletop live stream. I was on War Games live stream. So there's tons of streams if you want to see me play some Warhammer. This was against my wonderful Sisters of Battle opponent. The last game this is game 6. Yeah, I think was game 6, game 5 or 6. Great time, had a fun time. Love this image. Looks like, whoa, slow down, bro. What? What? Where did I get? What you need me to slow down? Slow down where? Slow down where? And then of course over here we had this was us kind of getting ready for the shadow round. So they were like, okay, you're all in the shadow round, come on down. So they sat us down. They fed us such delicious food. Like it wasn't like pizza. We were like, they're probably gonna like give us pizza or whatever. They fed us like rice and beef and vegetables, and they had like desserts and stuff. Like they actually treat us real good for being in the shadow round. Awesome. Like I thought Tacoma, like Tacoma set the bar for shadow rounds. This was pretty damn close. Like Tacoma was awesome when Games Workshop put us in like a separate suite in the hotel, and had like a full catered like little meal basically thing. Hey Nick, how's it going? Yeah, and there you have it. So after that little ordeal, boom, Best Coast pairing rankings. Innis is like so close to me. Folger is so close to me as well. And then but Ben Jones is not going to WCW, I believe. So even Zach is like in a good spot. But the thing about Folger is the one to watch at WCW. Why? Number one, he's the returning champion. Number two, he has a low score that is going to basically, right, replacing that low score just by showing up to WCW, he's going to be at like Innis's number of points. So I've got to work my ass off, and then who knows? It's gonna be such a photo finish at the World Championships. I'm so excited for this finish. It's gonna be great. What? No Archon pick? Oh, I thought I did have the Archon. I think it's after this. I think it's after this Cosmic. So there you have it. Number two, me. Like wildest dreams. The goal is number one. We have one more big event, World Championships, November 7th, 8th, 9th. Boom! There we go. We did have our little Archon picture at LVO as well. Not as many Archons as at LGT, but I believe some of them were kind of busy when we took the picture or whatever. Ah, thanks, Mark. You can do it. I missed window to add the list crunch. Nick, I'll definitely, I can touch base on that in a little bit. We have lots to go through today, so if I have a chance to go through it, I will. But yes, if you do put a list in for the next list crunch, then I'll definitely go through a specific list for you as well. I love that two have the same tufts. Yeah, I love those purple tufts. They're so cool. And of course, OG Charles over here, just with his OG Dracon Archon. Absolutely love the fact that we had it. And there you have it, folks. So, a little bit everything. It was awesome to see everybody there, and that is my journey. So what's next? Well, new codex, been playing a lot with the new codex. Been having a ton of fun with the new codex. Getting, like, just playing tons of games, learning. I'm really liking Reaper's Wager and Cavalite Cartel and the Spectacle of Spite. Absolutely love, like, that style, which is really cool. All in all, yeah, that's sort of like the main topics for the day. I've been painting. I've got an Archon I need to paint, and all that good stuff. So this was just a little recap. Things that have happened in the world of Skari over the last 3 or 4 weeks. So let me leave a comment down below, leave a like, let me know what you think. And if you were there and we said hi, awesome. I gave away dice and stickers from the Red Dragon, the sponsor, but we're going to have stuff to give away as well at the World Championships. So if you run into me or Dan at the Red Championships, the World Championships, whether you're in the narrative or you're in the competitive or in the kill team side or whatever, come find us, and we have like little goodies to give away and stuff as well. I love my whip. Yes, he definitely knows what he's into. What's next with the new codex? Boom. What's next? Number 1 with new codex. That's right, Charles. What's a good traditional color for Drukhari, and what's a color or job that really surprised you? I think that because we're Eldar, we get to kind of paint them however you want. I think the traditional color, like the green, right? The black heart style is more the traditional. That or the original like purpley color from like third or fourth edition, like purpley red color that everybody kind of used. That's a more traditional, I'd say. As for surprising colors, anything can work really, because they're elves, they're alien, right? And there you have it. Awesome. So let's dive in to the Q&A. So how do you get to participate in the weekly show? Well, number 1, be a patron. Easy peasy. We have a Q&A, so I post up a little thing where you can put a question. I'll read them through. We'll talk about them. We interact with the chat. Really fun time. And then we do a list crunch. So Scourge, Trueborn, and Incubi level patrons get to submit an army list every time I do a show. And I'll read the army list. It's like a quick read, and I'll give you my thoughts. And if you have any questions specifically, we go over those. There's an opportunity for you to develop an army list, things like that as well. And I try to give you as much time as I can to do this. So with that, let's dive in to the Q&A. Kisme, haha, see, I said it right this time, says, "Hey, Scary. Hello. I'm struggling to develop my list. I don't know what I should take in or sort out. I'm playing Dark Angels. I wonder what is a must-have for competitive. I have some points left to fit in Gladiator Lancer, Intercessors, and Outriders, Fast Forward, and Sticky. Maybe space for some Infiltrators. What would be your must-have picks in a Dark Angels list?" Great question for just Space Marines in general. So for Space Marines in general, or like there's like a couple of things I'd be like, okay, for Warhammer in general, this is what I would take. I would always try and take something that infiltrates. I'd try to take something that has uppy downy. I'd try to take something that either scouts. I'd try to take something that has like a 6-inch deep strike if I can, and sticky objectives. Like there's a couple of key things that I really like for playing Warhammer. But in a Space Marine list, not just a Dark Angel list, I think you have to look at Dark Angels as Space Marines first. So I would definitely go for a unit of infiltrators, always, scouts, lone up lieutenant, and just regular intercessors. Those would be like the 4 things that I'd want to auto take in pretty much every list, and then everything else around it. It's kind of like you've got, those are like toolkits that you can use to press buttons, scout, infiltrate, use the middle of the board, move block, etc. Now, JPI, I think jump pack intercessors are super important. I'd take 1 to 2 squads. I don't actually own any built and painted for my Black Templars, but I would highly recommend a squad or 2 at least, in any Space Marine list. And then if you're playing Dark Angels, like the Lion is pretty good right now, like especially with how he changed. I'm a big fan of like speed and maneuverability, so like Samael with Outriders, or Big Outrider Brick with like a command squad can be really good depending on the list you're running. And then I think the key to playing Dark Angels well competitively is don't spend too many points on Deathwing Knights and things like Inner Circle Companions. Like, it's okay to spend on them, but it doesn't, like, you don't need them, you know? I don't think. Like, I think they're cool, but like, I don't think you need to take 15 of them, as an example. I think it's redundant and kind of pointless. Properly set up infiltrators and Marines can screen about 50% of your backfield with 5 men. Yep. Yeah, like just having 1 unit infiltrators, stick your home objective, infiltrators stop any deep strikes, you keep the enemy in front of you, and then of course you can kind of go for like some different plays. Like if you want to do more aggressive infiltrators, you can do like a Phobos Librarian to make them lone up, and like there's things you can play around with. But those, quiz me, will be the main things. Second question, what's your experience with kit bash and or 3D printed models used at tournaments? I see a lot of versions of models on streams. I wonder if it's okay to use more better fitted themed 3D printed or kit bash models instead of the original box versions. So most events do not care if you have 3D models, 3D prints, as long as they are about the same size and body mass of what they're trying to represent. They represent what they're trying to represent well, accurately, and sort of like have similar weapon style options so you can actually tell what they're sort of armed with, whether it's a plasma, melta, flamer, right? Like things like that. However, most of that gets overlooked a lot of the time if it's painted well. If it's painted well, it usually goes. If it's painted like shit, folks will have issues with it. So like, just paint it. If you're going to have prints and sculpts, just paint it. Make sure that the weapon options are clear, or have rubber bands, or a way that it doesn't confuse your opponent. Make sure they're on the right base sizes and they're at the right size, right? That's fine. Now, if you were to go to like a big GT, say a GW event, they have, I think it's more of like a don't ask, don't tell policy, I think. I haven't really, like, I played a WCW last year against a fully 3D printed Space Wolf army that was like 30 3D printed Wolfen. Um, they were actually not even that well painted, which is what pissed me off even the most. I was like, ugh. And he beat me too, to like rub it, to be add insult to injury. But like, if they're not going to put you on like on the GW stream if you have like 3D printed models, right? So you either have to have substitutes or something else. So like, if you want to be on stream, like at a GW on the GW official GW stream, like make sure you have official models. But as always, contact your local TO or the TO you're going to and ask them. Sometimes they make you take pictures of models and say, "Hey, is this a good counts as?" Right? And that's it. Yeah, that's sort of like general policy as well. Played my first game with Cavalry Cartel. Picked a bad unit to contract, struggled to kill it most of the game. Blackberry, you learn that over time. Like, even if you don't kill your contract, you get the bonus, like, against everything else. So, it's fine. You just don't get the cool bonus pain tokens and stuff. Sunscreen, hey Scar, started playing Warhammer last year. First Army's AdMech. Love your contact. Hope you're doing well. Thank you, Sunscreen. I'm doing well. Thanks for saying hello. Jeff says, hi, Scary. Has the Codex had a big impact on your coaching services? Have you had to emergency meetings with your patrons? Big impact, more like it's I like it's sold out basically. Yes. So it's busy, busy, which is great. I love it. I love being busy. Google Drive folder, non-stock models. Yeah, that's a great way of doing it. Hey, what's going on, Rumanji? We're still friend learning. Try Coterie Coven's list. How the hell does one stage and move that many monsters for them not to be punching bags? Just have to hide them, put them in reserve, you know, that sort of thing. Okay, moving up. Martin Somerton says, with the new codex, no out in the wild when building a list for a specific attachment like Cartel and Spite. With the new codex now out in the wild is what I'm assuming that says. Okay. Do you recommend going hard into units that benefit greatly from those? Yes. I think that with any Dark Eldar list, the key to playing Dark Eldar, you can quote me on this, is to find out what you like and lean into it. And then play lots of games and find out what's fun. And that works the best. So, yes, like in Kabalite Cartel, I will lean into Blades for Hire, Mandrakes, Incubi, Kabalite Warriors, Kabalite stuff, but I will also take Lilith and Witches, and I will also take Reaver Jetbikes, and I will take Hellions. Why? Because they're just so good utility pieces that are just good at the game that I can put them in any list, whether it's Coven, Witch Cult. Like, I will always take Malice, an Archon, 10 Kabalite Warriors, and a Venom, at least, in every list, whether it's Kabalite Cartel, Coven, whatever it is. Why? Because I think that there's fundamentally good units that have good rules, like, you know, like Kabalite Warriors, an Archon, and Malice, and Reaver Jetbikes and Hellions, and things that like help you play the game. And then you can kind of focus on the detachment with like key units, like, okay, witches, enhancements, etc., etc. Having issues with early game missing the Beast Pack and Wrath Arcs. Anymore, you just have to use Reaver Jetbikes. That is the new Beast Pack, my friend. Actually, I've talked to a couple of my coaching clients around the world, and folks are having decent success with not with Cartel, with Covenite Coterie. Yeah, it's actually I think I haven't had a chance to play yet, but I feel like there might be some juice in there. How high are you on the Shard Carbine Scourges? Everybody seems low on them. But you've had a unit in every bat rep? Yes, I've actually liked them. You know what works really nicely with the Carbine Scourge? 10 Mandrakes. AP2, ignore cover, is one hell of a drug. It's fantastic. But 10 Mandrakes have made it into my lists, and I'm loving my big brick of Mandrakes. It's very good. Barry Banshee gave me advice on becoming the meta. It was a week later I found out you're the Drakari meta. Scary saves. Prison soap. Yeah, well, thanks a lot, man. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I like that. That's my philosophy. Make your own meta. Stop, I have just had PTSD. I know, the 10 mandrakes just putting in work. How are they having success? Must with coterie. Exactly. Well, that's what I've been trying to find out. Is it consideration for the second 5 mandrakes? I have 80 points left over. I have 1 unit of 5, 1 unit of 10 mandrakes. Hopefully that helps Martin with your question. Aloha Santa says, hey Scary, just wanted to ask how you prep for a tournament. What goes through your head, and what is your process when you get the mission pack? And what else do you prepare for each game? So the thing that I do mainly for prep for a tournament is I play lots of games. I try and play against as many different armies as possible, and I try to play as many different missions as possible. If the tournament has a set mission pack, I'll play those missions, but I don't really look at mission packs. Is that bad? Like, I'm just used to, like, you just play the game of Warhammer. Whatever your mission is, it is. And I'm get used to Games Workshop style events where they don't actually give you the mission pack until you show up to the event. You're like, oh, these are the missions I'm playing this weekend. So you better have had practice on pretty much every deployment style, every Games Workshop layout, every mission that is available. Here to lead, not read. That's right. Haradra, Haradar. I like Reavers in 6s and 3s. I have 1 of 6 and 1 of 3 in my list. Nerf Skari, not Drakari. That's right. So, in terms of preparation, the main thing I can say is make sure you know what your shit does. That's it. Make sure what your stuff does. Your army, your rules, your detachment, your stratagems. Understand what your stuff does. Everything else can then be in relation to what your stuff does. And then I show up to the table. Look at how much I've used this hoodie. I take it to the table, and I find who my opponent is. When I get to the table, usually, I'm like, hello, opponent. And I figure out what I'm going to do on the spot. That is my process. Probably not a very, like, relatable process. Because I just don't like wasting energy on trying to figure out who I might play and what I would do if I played this list or that list. I don't like wasting time and energy because if there's 500 people at the tournament and there's like one list that I really don't want to play against, like, why am I wasting time thinking about it? Until I like run into it and I'm like, okay, time to put my money where my mouth is, right? I don't like wasting brain power. I'm like, I'm gonna get a good night's sleep. I'm gonna eat food, and sleeping is super important. I'm gonna rest, and then I don't really like I hang out, but I make sure that I'm gonna go to sleep at a good time. I have to wake up. Like for me, it's a sport event. Like it's a sport meet. Like it's work. I have to perform, so I try and give myself the best advantages possible by eating, resting, being prepared, having all my tools, drinking water, staying hydrated, having Tylenol, like whatever it is, etc., etc. Salt, it is monetized. Yes, so there will be adverts that pop up every once in a while. Until you run into MSU Custodes. I know. Come on, why? Why would you bring that up? I actually knew that matchup for like 3 days, right? So I just probably got in my head. If I would have just showed up and not even looked at his list, I'd have been like, cool, I'll just figure this out as we go. Probably better. Congrats on being second in the rankings, Scary. Thanks, Conquest. Really appreciate it. Thank you for your membership here on YouTube. Really means a lot. Thank you. Correct, exactly. Max, yes, true. Any advice on maneuvering outriders? Definitely. We can talk about all that stuff in a bit. Let's go through some of these questions. Okay. Patron questions. Fluvio B says, hi, Scary. Hope you recovered from LGT LVO. Yes, I took like 3 days off. I watched, over the last week and a bit, I've watched the entirety of Alien Earth, which was actually really good. I really liked it. Yep. Could you please explain if your deployment changes much and how you deploy on WTC terrain? Well, most of my lists were developed for WTC terrain. Trying to figure out that myself, especially thinking about move blocking from round 2 onwards with MSU bikes, Hellions, etc. Yeah, so my deployment wouldn't change too much from what I'd used at WTC on WTC tables. So if you want to go and watch any of the streams that I was on WTC, on the Vesla streams or on War Games Live, go check and just see how I deployed there. Very similar. But yes, bikes become the new beast pack for move blocking. That's why I have a big 6-strong bike unit where I can just shove it in someone's face. And with the advance and charge and a pain token early, they have been absolute money. I've really, really enjoyed having them. Oh, the Octa-Eye. Oh, cool. Tylenol for the power boost. Let's go. Any advice on maneuvering? Oh yeah, it's already talked about that. But that's Fluvio. Like, ideally, if I have a Ravager, it's like trying to get the longer angles with my Dark Lances. The Haywire Scourge are more central to get like better lines of sight and use their range more effectively. And then it's really a determination of who I'm sending to the expansion objective of my opponent to sort of like contest their objective as much as possible. What I'm going to try and do with the middle, and how I'm going to control my objective, my expansion, and prevent my opponent from getting to my expansion, right? So those are like all the deliberations. And it really does depend on what table we're playing on, because in WTC you have 8 different layouts that you might be playing on. And a lot of the times, my list is table agnostic. It can go on any table, in any terrain, and I tend to be able to hide pretty much my whole army every time because I'm good at deployment. So I wouldn't really get a choice on table. It'd just be like, you're going to be on this table or that table. And it just like, it is what it is at that point. But with Malice, you can really kind of help a lot with the redeploys because you can kind of put stuff in places that are very aggressive and then redeploy them based on your opponent's deployment, which I think is important. We do have to get through all of these, so I'm going to go through all these. We're going to give priority to the patron questions. I know chat, thank you so much for hanging out. I will look at super chats though. If we want to do that, that's great. But I have like an hour, so I need to make sure that I get this done as much as possible. Moving on, we have Mark of Corn says, in a word, how stoked are you for WTC? Really? There you go. Easy peasy, Mark. I'm very excited for WCW. My first WCW was last year. I went 4-4. I changed my list at the last minute, and I ruled the day. And then I went on to top 8 at LVO, because I was like, I'm going back to my normal list. And so now I'm not making that same mistake. I'm going to take a list that I know, that I've developed, that I've honed, that I've played 300 games with. And I'm just going to focus, play one game at a time, because that is all you can hope for. Just play one game at a time. See how that goes. Hola. Oh, yeah, says, yo, Scarman. What's going on? What's your take on 15 to 18 Reaver jet bikes? I'm one game in with the list, playing another on Wednesday, going with, and apparently I didn't fix this out. Going to make use of move block, bikes through lone up, spam with solitaires and mandrakes, also including up a death gesture in the list. I have 20 witches in the list, keep move blocking, try and score last 10 for 2 to 3 turns while also denying primary. Really love your the playstyle, feels like sort of like your Index Eldar Inari. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Like, there is something to be said about skewing a list, which works a lot better when you're doing something like teams, right? Because you can really hyper focus on one of these things and kind of go with it, which makes sense. I'm not a big fan of the all-in on jet bikes because I know how fragile they are. Yes, they kill stuff, but they just die instantly. Yes, they're not that expensive, but they just die instantly. So they have to have you can move block them over and over, but like you won't have much left after a couple of turns. And then once that's gone, it's like your trick up your sleeve is just gone. So I'm a big fan of 1-3-1-6 or 2-3s-1-6, so like 12. If you do 2 6s, you can do 2 6s 1-3. I think that's the max I would do, because at that point you're spending 300 points on jet bikes, more than that. So it's like, so I don't know. It's just a lot of points. Even in spite, yeah, because I want Malice, Archon, Kabalites, right? I'm going to have those things in every list. So that's like, I'm already investing those points. I need sticky objectives in every game I play. I want that redeploy in every game I play. I want the free strat from the Archon in every game I play, even if he can't get enhancements. And I want him to give reroll hits and wounds to the little Cavalite squad, you know? Lilith in every list as well. Lilith in every list. I love Lilith. She is so freaking good. But yeah, but if you want to play that super high pressure list, that works fantastic, right? So it works really, really well. Everything in every list, I know. That's the thing about playing Dark Eldar right now. We want everything in every list. Moving on, Zitar says, should I get a bomber? Yes. Should I get 2 instantly? I'd get 1. It is a really fun looking model. Get 1. Enjoy painting it. Use it a couple of times. Like, Games Workshop seems to be moving away from aircraft and supporting aircraft in any sort of like meaningful way. But it is fun and you should at least try it once. And it's a cool looking model. I prefer 1 unit jetpacks to slow down enemy advance on objectives, pop off smoke, heat lances. Yeah, that works too. Blackberry, 100%. Owl Duke asks, greatest of Archons. Will you do a short video on the Legends datasheets? Yeah, I could definitely do something like that. That would be fun. Something similar to when you did through the whole book. It'd be really fun to hear what you would do with all that if they were allowed in regular play. I also get to play a lot of Crusade and narratives, and they allow Legends in Crusade and narrative, right? Also, good luck. Take that top spot. Thank you. And then hide as Vect comes to collect your rival butt. I love how in the Crusade rules it's roll a dice, and all 3 of them are remove your Arca, remove your Ascendant Lord from your roster. He either goes into hiding, is too powerful, and doesn't care about going to real space anymore, or Vect makes him disappear. The Bomber is a really cool model to paint as well. I don't know why they did it, but legendary Drukhari units are some of the most OP units in the game. They're so good. Like, they made Grotesques so good. They added rules to the Beast Pack for no reason. It's just so good. Oh my gosh, it's just incredible. Anyway, great question, Alduke. But yes. Ari says, are you still feeling that Reaper's Wager is the ideal Tackles Comer singles attachment? Or do you think enough power shifted back to Real Space Raid, Sky Splinter Assault with Codex changes, just considering for generic singles play, not teams or hard skew? So I think that we have play with almost every single detachment. Even from what I'm hearing from Coterie, from folks that are playing the Coven Coterie, and they're having results with it, I think that there's play. It just really depends on what your playstyle is and how well you can balance building an army list. Because you want to add everything in, but you cannot add everything in. Sorry, I got something. Right? So, I do think, for me, right? This is me, for me, Reaper's Wager is the most stable detachment. I think it is a baseline. It is probably the best one for going 10 rounds or 12 rounds. Like, if you want to do consistently the best over multiple games against a variety of opponents, I think Reaper's Wager gives you the best tools for this. I think Real Space Raid is excellent, has great stratagems, has a great army detachment rule, very good for especially newer players learning the mechanics of the game, because you get lots of pain tokens, so you can learn the mechanics and you don't have to worry about conserving them too much. Sky Splinter Assault and so Sky Splinter Assault still has a lot of power. I think the loss of the Court of the Archon makes it that it shifts. Maybe instead of a court, now you're running Lilith and 10 witches in a raider, or you do the Archon and 10 incubi in a raider to bounce in and out and kind of do that aspect as well. But I think Sky Splinter with lethals, Lance in combat, still very good. But then you have Cavalite Cartel. And Cartel's damage output is way up, and I think that makes it a very good contender, right? So if I were to rank them, I'd say you have Reaper's Wager, Cavalite Cartel, then we have like Sky Splinter Assault, and like Real Space Raid and Spectacle of Spite. In sort of like, you could kind of make a, for it. And then and then Covenant Coterie. Not that it's bad, but it's like a very specific detachment that very specific types of people will make work. You know, that's kind of how I make it possible. So, Evil Chen, I don't really like heat lances on my Scourge, but yes, I'll take them on like the Reaver Jetpacks. Contrite says, "Hey Scary, hopefully that question that helps Ari, your question." Contrite says, "Hey Scary, Succubi have precision on their weapons, and the ability Blood Spectacle, which triggers on hit and wound rolls against character units. So you could just get character units, get reroll hits and wounds, not necessarily character models. But precision doesn't trigger until you successfully wound. Does this mean there are no? No. You just any character unit. So when you're if there's a character in the unit the Succubus is fighting, she gets reroll hits and wounds. So you reroll hits and wounds, and anything you want can get allocated to a character you can see within the unit because of precision. So the combo works. The combo works, and I hope that helps. Yeah, like I think they're like Succubus are not terrible. Their little token precision's not bad. Salt Laces says, "Do you have a Sigmar army or interest in playing one? And if not, which one would you choose? Would you go Murder Elves? Would you go in another direction?" So I've played quite a bit of Age of Sigmar, especially with the mini wargaming crew. I currently own a Skaven army. My son owns a Sylvaneth army. I play anything. However, my favorites are Sylvaneth. I love trees, murder trees. You don't even have to use a precision. It says no. Yeah, exactly. With the Succubus, just reroll hits and wounds. You could just hit the unit if you want. You don't have to put it on the character. Sylvaneth. I love Hedonites of Slaanesh. Probably one of my favorite. I love Glutos and like just Glutos and like Myrmidons and all the like Hedonite stuff. Absolutely love that army. And then Daughters of Cain. So yes, Elvish, Slaaneshi, but like mainly Sylvaneth and Hedonites, and Daughters of Cain is like my main Age of Sigmar armies. I need to see Ollie in a battle report. I know. He's 14 now, so he's like, Dad, I don't want to hang out with you, Dad. Man, Dad. He's a teenager. But I'll try get him at some point to play a game. Moving on. Hopefully that answers your question, Soldays. I really like my favorite is like Sylvaneth. I love the trees, the ninja trees. They're so fun. And Hedonites. They're like my two favorite. Too Much Coffee. Hey, Scary. I really enjoyed watching you on stream at LVO. Well, thank you for watching. The game into Eldar was masterful. Thank you. I did play into at the Shadowround. That was my Shadowround game. I learned a ton. Thank you. I am playing at a major at the beginning of next month. Nice. My current test list has 5 characters. It doesn't happen often, but in the case when an opponent takes fixed assassination, should I play cagey, hold my characters back, or is it damn the torpedoes approach better? Well, yeah, you can like be a little bit more conservative with your characters, and just remember that because your opponent took that, they kind of have to come and get you to score those points. So instead of being very aggressive with your characters, you can just wait for them to have to come at you, or they score 0 points, right? So like you can just hide them behind walls and go, I'm just gonna hide them. Now you're 20 points under, so the max you can score is an 80. So what are you gonna do about it? Like, I'm just gonna play the game. I got tons of trash, you know. And then every once in a while they get too close. You send out a character unit, go kill something, and just hop back into your venom. And it's gonna make your opponent overcommit to try and make something happen. So I think if they take assassinate against you, it's just a trap. That is just such a trap. You should be able to maximize on that, no problem. But good luck at your event. And make sure you post some pictures in the Discord and write up or something. It'd be really cool to see how you do. Moving on, Flowers. Hi. Hello, Flowers. I'm quite new to the Yukari, and wondering if you can walk me through your thought process on how to properly stage your first couple of turns to force your opponent to make mistakes or come out of hiding. That is a very in-depth question that would take longer than the few minutes I have to break down for you. But in a nutshell, the key to playing Dark Eldar well, Flowers, is deployment, is making sure that your opponent does not see you or cannot really interact with you at all if they go first. So you always want to deploy as if you were going to go second. The secondary part of staging the first couple of turns is, if you go first, stage your army in a way that forces your opponent to react to you, but make sure that you stage your army with a secondary stage that once your opponent reacts to you, you can react to your opponent's reaction. It's multi-layered. Secondly, do not make your first turn into a crappy deployment phase, which happens a lot. Do not go first and then move in a way that you might as well have deployed everything in the open and let your opponent go first. That's bad. So don't turn your first movement into a crappy deployment. You kind of have to go from there. Like, you want to make sure you're staging to stop them from scoring, and you want to make sure you're staging to protect yours. Like, one of the main sort of like scary openings is scout sticky your your expansion objective, send jet bikes or onto the flank to create a wall so that your opponent can't get to your expansion objective, and then you send the witch units turn 2 to create another screen so they can't get to your expansion objective to protect your expansion. So it's more about protecting your points and then making sure that you are shoving stuff on your opponent's expansion objective to stop them from scoring points. And if you can do that 2 or 3 turns, mathematically very hard for you to lose. But I hope that gives you some food for thought. Tried the Cabalite detachment, feels solid. I'm missing something. Sub-Zero might be, sometimes you miss. I did post a couple of, I'm going to be posting a couple of like how to build lists and a few lists. I've finally kind of caught up a little bit on coaching calls and stuff after being away for like 3 weeks. So I'll be getting back to doing some stuff and things like that as well. I don't think Codex would be OP if we had assault ramps on our transports. Like, you can do Sky Splinter if you really want that. It's not OP. Moving on. Archon Morsan. Greatest Archon of Archons. You're really going for the flattery today, denizens. You really are. And it's working. I'm about to assemble Hand of the Archon box. What's the best loadout? So my favorite loadout is Sergeant with a Blast Pistol and Power Sword and Phantasm Grenade Launcher. Splinter Cannon. Blaster. I do like the Blaster, but you could go for the Shredder. The Carbine. The one guy that has the needle, and that's about it. And then the close combat. So the Razor Flail, the twin thingies, the Pain Sculptors. I would not take the one with the little poison pistol because I prefer the rifle on that one, but that's like the only thing. And that's like that's my favorite loadout. Yeah. Hopefully that helps. Moving on, Brimstone says, "Hello, Mr. Scary." Hello. What is your favorite question? Someone has asked, what type of question? No saying every question is your favorite. I know I would say that. I know you'd say that. Every question is my favorite. So I like when there's varieties of questions and it's not the same question over and over, right? What's my favorite question someone has asked me before? There's so many over many years. I can't really pinpoint one. But ones that are more than just like, I like the fun questions just as much as I like the in-depth questions, but ones that show that you put some thought into the question, but there's no stupid questions, right? Like, they're all, like, questions are good. I'm not going to say every question is good, but I can't remember what my favorite question is because they just go through my head and it's like a stream of consciousness. Malice does feel great. 10 strong mandrakes feels great. Does it smell like chloroform? I don't really remember that question. That's funny. But yeah, that's, all in all, Brimstone. Like, for example, I can tell you, like, my favorite question so far in this one has been for example, Flowers' question here has been my favorite question so far, because how to develop your game early is like super important for a Dark Eldar player, And so that shows like that is a question that I could go on and do like a whole 2 hours on just that one question and bring up like that's the kind of question I'd go through like a coaching client with, and I'd be like, we'd pull up tabletop simulator and we go through it and kind of go through a turn and a turn or two and be like, this is kind of how I would do it. And that's the kind of thing when I play my coaching games. When you develop your first turn and you do a couple of turns, I go, okay, how could we change it? How could we switch it? How could we make it more efficient? Things to look out for, right? That is a good question. Thanks for the question, Brimstone. Danny Cod asks, I have the Talavera in 2 weeks. Do you have any advice on how to prepare? I'm 90% sure I'll be using my avatar list. So, preparing for an event, number 1, play lots of games. Number 2, make sure you have a role. If it's a team event, is Talavera a team event? If it is, then make sure you are aware of your good matchups, bad matchups. Do you think you'll do a video on deployment and staging? Yeah, at some point. Yeah, whenever I have time, I put stuff out on like using terrain formats, things like that. Just stay tuned to this channel and you'll see tons of stuff. Sometimes I do them for the patrons, sometimes I do them for free. It varies. Depends on how much time I have, really. So just play the missions, play the terrain. I think one of the easiest things to practice when you're going to an event is put the terrain out, because it's agnostic to what you're playing against, and just deploy your army and see shooting angles. Like, can you hide your army in different locations? And that would be like one of the main things that I would prepare on, is just practice your deployment, because it sometimes you can make it that it almost has nothing to do with your opponent. And you can kind of really set, okay, I can hide this much stuff, or I need to reserve things to hide my army on this table or that table. So if you get an opportunity to do that, that's probably one of the best uses of your time. Robbie says, do you ever feel like you get list writer's block? Nope. I want to do everything. So it sucks, because I'm like, I want to do everything and I know I can't. So I've trained myself to be like, I can't do everything. And it feels sad, but it is what it is. It's team event, 3 mixed tables, WTC and 2W. Yeah, so just make sure, Daniel, that you try on different tables, right? And especially if it's 5s, right? 5-man teams. So like that, okay, I need, like, if you have a table that you just can't hide on or can't stage on, like, you need to tell your team, like, I cannot play on this table, so I need to pick a table so I don't play on this table, or else I'm just going to lose. Like, that information is invaluable for your team. Okay, moving on. That is the Q&A session. Now, we go into the list crunch segment. Now, the list crunch is a section where folks get to post an army list. Whenever I do a show, the thread is on the Discord, and list crunch is open to Scourge, Trueborn, and Incubi tier patrons, and you can post a list every time we do a show. I will read the list quickly. I will give you a couple of thoughts. I spend maybe a minute, 2 minutes per list. Nothing crazy, but it hopefully helps you steer you in the right direction. So if you want to participate, the best way is through the Patreon page as well. So yeah, on WTC. The problem is the Wave Serpent. Yes, the Wave Serpent. Yeah, but even on WTC, learn the math for Wave Serpent to go up and down ruins, like the small area of the ruins with the fins. Learn the math. It's actually not as bad once you like star engines it. So just learn how much it takes to go up and down with rotates and stuff. Like you will be able to make it work a lot easier than you think. Patreon Bestion. Thank you, Cosmic. You're awesome, by the way, as my mod in the Discord. Cosmic, you're amazing. So thank you so much. And also organizing a lot of the stuff on there and putting the bots in and things, because I don't know how to do any of that. Adam, learning how to deploy and create waves of units across objectives has been the biggest thing that's helped me improve this edition. Yes, Adam, that is exactly right. So let's dive into the list crunch. F says, Witchy Poo. Spectacle Spite. Okay, Archon, Lady Malice. I love it. Already like this list. Lilith, Succubus with the Chrono Shard, Succubus with the Paratap. So, I think... So is the Paratap the ignore cover? Where's the 2 damage? Did not take the Morgana's Curse? Oh, that would be... I would never leave home without the 2 damage succubus. Like, that succubus with 2 damage attacks will rinse a lot of units. Like, especially if you go into AdMech. Imagine you go into AdMech and they're like, I got all these little stabby stab things. They're 2 wounds. You're like, dip. With one 80-point character. Get it done. Cablight Warriors, double witches. Good. Yeah, makes sense. Raider, Venom. I personally would prefer... Yeah, that's not bad, actually, because you split 1 witches, you split 1 cabs, and then you have 1 10-strong witches. I like the 10-strong witches with the fights first. I like Lilith in the gladiatorial weapons, right, with 1 of the witches and a venom. And then the other succubus, I guess, goes with the other witches. Sure. Or you can do it either or. Yeah, the World Eater bricks die to do damage, but don't forget they have -1 damage, so you have to make sure Malice is nearby to make them pay. Chronos, I find at least 1 Chronos to be incredibly valuable now that I've been playing more and more games. And not necessarily for when I'm trying to do damage, because pain tokens can cascade. As soon as you get a kill, you get a pain token in your pocket, and you can be like, okay, I'm going to put it right away on something else. But Market yes, make them pay. As Market says that. Also, Market you are like my mod on here. So thank you, Mark. You're awesome. You got the little mod thing. I forget I actually set some stuff up for folks to help out. Yeah, you banhammer, everybody. Banhammer. Skulls. But mainly, so the Chronos has been very useful for any of the non-damage boosting pain token use. So, putting Mandrakes back into the sky, using it on a Reaver jet bike unit to scoot forward. I try and have my Chronos nearby those things, because those are pain tokens I really want to try and get back, right? Because they're ones that once you spend, they kind of go away and they don't regenerate them back. So that's what I've been using my Chronos mainly for. Double Hellions, triple Hellions, good. I love Hellions, especially in this attachment. Double Mandrakes, good. Double Reavers, and then a big unit Scourge. I would drop 1 unit of Dark Lances and just make 1 unit of Reavers here, put in a 6-strong unit of Reaver jet bikes. That is just something that I would do. I would just do that. Yeah. That's just, yeah. That's be my one note in this is that. And maybe try to get the 2 damage enhancement on 1 of the succubuses there. Okay. Moving on, we have Rob says, don't forget to like the stream to help with the algorithm. Yes, please. Like the stream, share. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. And head on over. The Discord is open to anybody to join, so you can join as well. Just find it on the Patron page. There's a link calling all rogue traders, and you can go into the Discord that way. They do. Our community is awesome. The fact that our community is so big, and I've got 1 moderator on YouTube and 1 on Discord is amazing, because we all know our standards. We know our standards, and we like nice people that aren't jerks. And we self-police quite well. So thank you so much to the Denizen community for that. Rob, 2K Cartel, no tanks allowed. So that is a very interesting concept. I don't think I would make a Drukhari list without transports. Like, I just don't see how I could do it, because... Wait, you said no tanks allowed. Why are there Ravagers in here? How dare you? How dare you tempt me with no tanks allowed, and then you put Ravagers in here? It has transports? Where are the transports? Oh, his opponents get no tanks. That might be why. Just kill all the tank? You mean all your opponent's tanks? Yeah, see, I thought you were just self-imposing something to you. I didn't think you were just putting out the gauntlet and throwing it at your opponent, being like, your tanks are dead. 3 Venoms. Oh, there they are. Okay, so I'm sorry. I will retract my previous statement. Your opponent gets 0 tanks allowed. Excellent name for a list. Drazar, Lady Malice, Archon, 1 with the All, 1 with the Network. 2 units of warriors, 2 units of incubi. Yep. 2 units of mandrakes, 1 big 10. I freaking love the 10 strong mandrake unit, by the way. With the Scourge with shard carbines, they are like the key to playing into that recon guard list, the key to playing into like so many things where you go like just AP2 ignore cover and dev wounds, and then if I charge you, there's like 30 attacks at strength 5 AP1 with dev wounds. Like, please. Yeah, so that's like I love it. 3 Scourge with heavy weapons. Well, now if you're doing Cavalry Cartel, I would recommend doing only Dark Lances. However, if you had 2 Dark Lances, I would actually go ahead and do probably a Splinter Cannon. I would do Splinter Cannons on 1 and Dark Lances on 2 because you benefit from lethals against tanks. The sustained against infantry, not so much. So maybe you do Blasters because then it's like a shorter ranged D6 plus 1. No, better AP. Like Blasters would be better AP. Lethals, just kind of you're fishing for lethals anyway. Anyway, just something to kind of keep in mind. I would like the extra AP actually. That would be pretty good because then go to AP 5 with like the Scourge with shard carbines, and like then most tanks just don't even get a save through like armor contempt, through smoke. Right? Just be like, and they hit on 3s, so it keeps them mobile and hitting better. So, yeah, there's something to be said about that. Hitting on 2s with the stratagem. Hey, maybe you're onto something. Now, I personally, though, would just swap a whole unit of Scourge for a unit of jet bikes. A 6 strong unit of jet bikes. Dark, Lance, Casino. Casino cannons. So, as for the Scourge with Star Carbine, I would always recommend the Shredder because the Shredder automatically hits. So you just have to go, oh, how many hits? Oh, look, you get -1 AP. So you don't have to worry about hitting at all. It's just, you just roll how many hits and it's just automatic. As for the Ravager, we have 2 Ravagers, 1 Chronos. Good. I like the Chronos in there for the reason I stated. And then we have 2 Ravagers with Dark Lances. I would do 1 Lance, 1 Disintegrator. I love the Ravager with Disintegrator cannons in Cavalry Cartel. It benefits so much from lethals and sustains. It has 4 rerolls to hit against a target that hasn't been wounded. And if you're shooting at your contract target with the crit 5s, it is a lot of strength 6 AP 3 2 damage. With a shard carbine Scourge putting a hit on with a shredder, then it goes up to AP 4. And AP 4 is, we're talking Void Raven Bomber levels of AP, which makes me so happy. So, do you only review Drukhari lists? No, Conquest. I review all sorts of lists. It just happens to be a high volume of Drukhari lists this time. But there are some non-Drukhari lists as we go. I will review any list. I will coach any army. Doesn't have to be Drukhari. Why? Because I coach fundamentals of Warhammer, playing good Warhammer, and I'm skilled enough that I know all the armies in the game. And I will review any list, not just Drukhari lists. But thank you for your question, Conquest. Oh, I had no idea. Ravagers are better in One Piece. They do less killing when they're disintegrated. That is true. That is also very true. Yeah. 1 unit of Haywire Scourge. Oh, 1 Haywire, 2 Lance. So that's so that is something that I would that I would definitely. I don't like Haywire at all in Cavalry Cartel because lethal hits against tanks feels terrible. Just don't do it. Take you don't need Haywire Scourge in this. You have lethal hits, so lances with lethals are great, very efficient into big monsters and vehicles. Malice on map with special weapons cabs, Deep Stark Arc with Incubi. Yep, makes sense. Overall, good. Couple of changes I would do is either I would probably put in the bikes, mainly just my own personal preference because I want to have that one screen that can go up and screen up. And other than that, I like where your head's at. Blood Bowl. I did do a Blood Bowl list. I've been tempting to post a chess list for the last, but I figured it's just a waste of everyone's time. You can post an army list of any list you want. You paid for this. So I get to suck it up and show it off. Guy Emerson says, F it Weeble. Drukhari, Spectacle of Spite. So Spectacle of Spite, Malice, Lilith, Succubus was fight first, Succubus with extra damage. So that is a standard build for Spectacle. I would try and add in an Archon as well, because I love having that free grenade. That free grenade is awesome, and a couple of the stratagems in Spectacle do work on other Drukhari units, I believe, as well. 1 king, 20 queens. Next show, red checkers or black checkers. Yeah, I know. We can have a that'd be a fun little meme list, eh? So 10 cabs, 10 witches. I do feel you need. Oh, is that 2 10 witches? Okay, 2 times 10 witches. 2 Chronos, 3 units of Hellions, 2 units of 6 Reavers. By the way, this super important. The 6 strong Reaver units I would put with Grav Talons. The 3 Reaver units I would give Cluster Caltrop, because I want that little extra dev wound. I want like, boop, 2 to 3 dev wounds, right? Whereas the Reavers, the 6 strong, I have found the Grav Talons to be excellent. They run in, they murder something. They're very, very good. 2 units of Mandrakes, 4 Venoms, and Heavy Weapon Scourge. As you are playing Spectacles, so yes, Dark Lance Haywire is good. So 2,000 points on the nose. Split the squads with Venoms, Lilith, and fights for Succubus with Gladiator halves. Yep, that's, yeah. I would actually, yeah, that works. The fights first with you the extra damage kind of does all the damage by herself, so I can see her going to like a little unit by herself. Malice starts with 5 gun cabs on board to redeploy and to sticky your home objective. Very important. Yeah, there you are. Put it right here. Then swap with the naked cabs in the other Venom. Correct. Use Mandrakes and Chronos to bait the enemy. Jail screen with Reavers. Talons over Caltrops, so I want to punch up when charging big monster vehicle. Yes. But you don't really need it on the little 3-man, because the little 3-man does nothing, really. X's and O's, eh? O's for me. All O's. But that is a great list, Guy. I like the list. I'd probably look at the Cluster Caltrop. It's very well thought out. I would probably try and fit in a Raider somewhere. The 6-inch Deep Strike, or the 6-inch Get Out with Witches is awesome. And I think you would really appreciate having it. But that's like my food for thought. Thank you for your list, by the way. And let me know how it goes. It sounds like a really fun list to play as well, which is really cool. Moving on, Ryan's list. This might be entirely too cute for a real game, but it feels pretty fun to me. That alone is an excuse to play it in a real game. If you think something is fun, play it at least once. Just do the silly thing. What's it going to cost you? 4 hours once a week? 1 4-hour session in a week that you just get to do something silly and go, let's see what happens, right? Just do it. Rat Pack 412 says, where do you send lists in for review? So, lists are for, this is a patron show. So this is usually a patron exclusive. So we have a Q&A, which is open to all patrons, Urgle, Faithful, right, all the way to Incubi. Lists, you can submit 1 army list if you're a Scourge, Trueborn, or Incubi tier patron, and they're on the Discord. So you go into the Discord, there's a thread that I open up for each episode, and folks put their lists on there, and then I compile them all in this magical document. And then it goes from there. But thank you for your question, Rat Pack. Moving on. I tried to take as many lone-op units I could in Reaper's Wager without taking bad units like a Jeff Deathster. Goal is to always get to choose the engagement. Everything has lone-op, fire and fade, which is real fast. Cool. So a non-interactive Reaper's Wager list is what you're going for. So Drazar, Lady Malice, Lilith, Solitaire, Shadowseer. I'm so sad there's no Archon. But, you know, we're talking fun, right? Fun? Yeah. You could always drop Drazar for an Archon. Same sort of thing. Shadowseer with the Webway Walker. Yep. Witches. So 1 unit of Witches, 2 units of Incubi, 3 units of Mandrakes, 2 units of Scourge, a troop, a big troop, 3 Venoms, 2 units of Reavers, 6 Reavers, 2 units of 6 Reavers, and a Void Reaver. So this is not a bad list. It's actually is okay. Like, if you were to drop Archon, Drazar and put an Archon in, right? Like, that alone would make this list decent. Drazar is, like, okay, he's fun, but, like, the Archon is, like, way better. Now, you don't have any Kabalites, which does make me sad. But, if you're running Drazar with Incubi, Lady Malice with Incubi, then you've got the Witches in the Venoms, like, with her Brazen Flare. So you got lots of little crap. Like, it would play the game. Like, I would take this and go to it and win an RTT with it. So I think you can do it. It's not nothing bad. It's a lot of points invested in the Harlequin brick, though. So you have to really make sure it pulls its weight when you play it. But would it work? Sure. It forces your opponent to commit, and then you pounce on them with a bunch of fast-moving things. Then we all get to enjoy these delicious bowls of list crunchos. That's right. It's a part of a nutritious competitive breakfast. List cruncho. List crunch? It's like a cereal. Yummy, crunchy, delicious. I love a big troop so much. It is definitely really fun, Salt. Very, very fun. On the Denizen Discord, link in the description. That's right. Thank you, Mark, for posting that as well. Ryan, I like your list. Have fun with it. I would change Drazar for an Archon, but other than that, decent. Moving on, Jared says, I have the core of this list pretty down. Need help with the last 300 points of the list with supporting pieces. Need more reps overall to pick contracts, use stratagems correctly. Cool. This has definitely been a Drukhari list. Lots of Drukhari lists. Don't worry. There's at least one Custodes one later. What am I missing, says Paul, with the Harlequins? Are they really that good? Yeah, they're okay. They're lone up with the Shadow Seer, so you can rapid ingress them. That's the plays. You rapid ingress them outside of 18, so your opponent can't interact with them for a turn, and then you advance and charge them into something, and they have 50 dev wound attacks. But mathematically, 2 units of 10 Mandrakes do better for about the same cost. 2 units of 10 Mandrakes are 300 points. That's about the same cost as a Shadow Seer and the big troop, and they have 20 shots each that do dev wounds, and then 30 attacks each that do dev wounds. So they're actually comparably better, and you get 20 wounds, and lone up 18 still, and stealth, and, it's there's really cool stuff in there, right? Across the Rift, do you review non-Drukhari lists? I do. We just haven't got to any yet. Why? Because I got so many. I haven't done this in 3 weeks, so there was a lot of folks that wanted Dark Eldar and new codex. So of course, everybody's putting new codex lists in here. Look at this. We've got tons, and I've only got 20 minutes. Okay, let's move on. Mafia Drukhari, cool. Drazar, Lady Malice, Lilith. Archon, Leech Bite, and Informant Network. Cool. I like it. That would be mine, except I wouldn't take Drazar. I'd save the points. Drazar is very... I love him, but I love to hate him. He's in that, an Archon does his job kind of better now. So if he was 70 points, I'd take him every time. 20 Kabalite Warriors, Witches, good. Incubi, good. 2 units of Mandrakes, good. 2 units of Scourge with Dark Lances, good. 4 Venoms, 2 Hellions, 2 Reavers, and a Ravager. Good, with Dizzy Cannons. We talked about that. Love it. You have the 2 Reavers. That's good, too. So what I would do here, I'll tell you, is I would join this Reaver unit. Actually, is it? Oh, you have 10 points left over. So I would, yes, join this Reaver unit. Oh, no, actually, drop the Leech Bite plate on the Archon. That saves you 5 points. And turn one of these Venoms into a Raider. That's it. That's the only change I would do. Raider lets you sticky, lets you have the second unit of Witches in there, and then you can do the sticky from inside the Raider. It's very good. Just try a Raider in every list. I think a Raider is just good. Gives you a lot of versatility, especially when you have Witches. Because you could put Lilith in there with 5 Witches and 5 numpty Kabalites that you split with Venoms. And then Lilith gets 6-inch disembark plus advance plus charge. She's so fast. She can just get anywhere. And then you have a Venom nearby to pick her up later, right? That you dropped off some Kabalites somewhere. So you can do both. I have super glued a base to my thumb. That happens. Yeah. Thanks for the reply, Chief. No problem across the rift. Thanks for the question. Take a pain token, Adam, or we all gain a pain token. That is a good list, by the way, Jared. I like it. I like this list a lot. That just a couple of little changes that I would change, and that would give you some food for thought there. Okay. 50k damage per minute. first dip into the codex with some Coven goodness. Amazing. Nice to see some Coven. This is pretty much all I have, but wanted to get feedback on it. If it was a good approach or not. Yes. By the way, building a list with just units I have is a very legitimate way of making an army list. That is how I make most of my lists, where I'm like, I don't own this, it's not painted, I don't want to paint it or get it ready for the tournament, so I'm going to take a subpar list and just play good with it. Which I guess is, one of the, I guess it's the benefit of just being very mono-faction. So let's take a look at it. Drazar, Homunculus, 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 Lady Malice. Nemesine, Artisan, Regenist. Okay, so decent amount of enhancements. Cabalite Warriors, amazing. See, this makes me happy. Then you did 2 units of 10 racks. I would do 1 unit of 10 and then 2 units of 5. That's what I would do. Especially because you have 3 Homunculus. So you want 1 in the 10-man, the +1 toughness, and then you do the aura, the one that gives the special aura in a 5-man, and then you give the artisan. You could even save points on the artisan, right? Like if you could actually save points on this whole homunculus. Like I don't think you need him. You just have the +1 toughness on, or whatever it is. Just one of these. I think the Regenist goes away, but you have 10 with the +1 toughness, 2 5s, 1 with the extra smelly aura in a venom. Right, so you have 2 venoms, one to split the Cabalites, 1 to put the 5 with the extra range Archon in there. If you can get a Raider, I'd also recommend a Raider, so that you could have that big 10 strong unit of racks in a Raider run up and like just not get shot, at least for a turn or 2. 2 units of 2 Chronos, good. I would actually do 1 unit of 2, 2 units of 5. 1 unit of 2, 2 units of 1. You have an Incubi unit. I'm assuming that's for Lady Malice, sure, but I like her with Cabalite Warriors, but that's a topic for another day. 1 Ravager with Dark Lance is good. Dark Lance, Scourge, good. And then you have 3 units of Talos. Excellent. So this is a good all-rounded list. Couple of tweaks that I would do to make it more sort of like playable friendly. But overall, I would see about dropping 1 of the Homunculus, splitting the 2 racks, maybe adding in an Archon. Oh, you've got Drazar, so Drazar probably goes with the Incubi. Okay, that makes sense. Probably adding in an Archon instead of Drazar, in my opinion. I know Drazar is really cool, but I really like the Archon. If you put him in the Incubi, you give him the Agonizer for the anti-infantry 3+ super combo of like 1,000,000 dev wounds, which I'm going to try. It's going to be so fun when I try it. And that's about that. So good food for thought, and let me know with your next list how it goes. Mark of Khorne to the rescue with skulls for the Skull Throne. Mark of Khorne says, so with the updates to 8-bound, one of my teammates challenged me to give me Possessed Slaughterband a try. Interesting. I remain unimpressed. That was a matter-of-facto statement. I love it. Just switching from Possessed to Vessels of Wrath? Oh my goodness. I think it may be time to revisit this for real. Oh my gosh, that sounds like so intense. Hi, Scary. Have you read the book about Lilith? Yeah. I the Void Scarred one. Yeah, I'd love to read Void Scarred. I haven't read it yet. Speaking of Chronos, 4+ regen or butt guns, says Robbie. If you're doing a solo Chronos, 4+ regen. If you're doing a team of Chronos, one of them can have the butt gun and still get the forest regen. But I think if you're doing like, if you have multiples, like you have like a unit of 2 and 1, do the single with the 4-up and do then make sure you have that 2 with the butt guns. Very good into like recon guard and stuff that needs like, that's coming into the meta lately. Just like throw a bunch of attacks that ignore cover at your opponent. Demon Prince with Kool-Aid, Gateways to Glory. Nice. Slaughterbound, leading 3 Exalted. Slaughterbound, leading 6 8-bound. 3 units 8-bound. Karn leading 10 Berserkers and a Rhino. Is that in every list? Is that like my Archon and Malice and Cabalites and a Venom? 3 units of Jackals. Nice. 2 units of Spawn. Nice. Forge Fiend and a Land Raider. This sounds very angry. In a team list, I would hate to run into this. If I was like Knights, I'd be like, nope. Exalted, start in Deep Strike. Big Brick of 8-bound in the Land Raider. Forge Fiend and in the Land Raider. Oh my god. Ugh. I'm just sent shivers down my spine. Forge Fiend and 10 Jackals in reserve. Objective sticky. Early game action move objectives. Freedom to put Exalted Forge Fiend where I can because it's the most pain. Yep. The real spice of the list is how useful the vessel units are. I've also found myself picking lethal hits as a blessing because some of the units fight vehicles. Now I can pick 2 useful blessings for the whole army and just put the situational blessing where I need it. I can give everyone devs against infantry and sustained while also putting fight on death on the 2 to 3 units that might actually be at risk. You know what? I like it. Like, it seems like you have all the tools you need. The only thing I'd like to see is more spawn. I think spawn are just incredible. So I would probably start my list with 3 units of 2 spawn when I did a list of corn. Because spawn, that's me as an elf. Like, I see spawn and I'm like, these things are just terrifying. You have to kill them or else they will literally table you. I've been shocked at how well it does into vehicles for sure. Oh yeah, like the 8-bound, slow to bound, like they just flip tanks over. Like going to Death Guard, no problem. Going to Knights, no problem. Going to bigger Knights, no problem. Going to Gladius, Space Marines, no problem. It's so good. But that's how I would do it, Mark. Just a quick food for thought. I would try and take more spawn. Real wounds against vehicles and monsters. Oh my gosh. Do you even need that, Mark? I don't think you would need that at all. But yeah, that's my food for thought, Mark. And I like it. I like where your head's at. Just murder. Lots of murder. And you have enough chaff in that list to still be useful, which is kind of cool. Moving on, we have Paul. Happy List Cruncho Day, Scary and fellow denizens. Hello, Paul. Thanks a lot for posting a list. Always look forward to your lists. I took a Soulforged Warpack list on RTT a few weeks ago and learned a lot. Mostly that Defilers are overcosted and very difficult to maneuver in WC terrain with their 160mm pie plate bases. Yeah. I think they're easier to maneuver with a base than without a base, but on WTC, I agree. I have lots of ideas, but because I get to play so infrequently, it looks like I'm using Soulforged Warpack for the foreseeable future. As you have heard me say before, Paul, sticking to something and playing with it over and over and over again is the best thing if you just want to get more comfortable and improve in your gameplay. This list act back the YOLO Helldrake and Mauler-Fiend. Love it. 2 of my favorite units in all of Warhammer. And I made one of the cultist blobs 20 so my opponent cannot automatically discard it. Discard Cull the Horde. Nice. Especially if you hide it in the back. You're like, nah, you're stuck with that card. You have to kill all these cultists. Nice. So you've got Lord on Hellstalker. They actually got a huge boost. I really like them quite a lot. Terminator Sorcerer for the extra AP. Vashtor, who also got a big boost. Really like him. And a Warpsmith with the Tempting Addendum. Overall, good. You're not spending too many points on HQs, and your HQs punch, and they're good use units. 2 10s and 1 20 cultists. Good. Double Forge Fiend, 1 Helldrake. Absolutely love the go through walls 20-inch moving Helldrake. Like, I think of, say, what we're seeing right now. Like, if you were to play in like UKTC and you run into that one like Space Marine list that has the Storm Raven, right? The like crazy Storm Raven. If you go first with that Helldrake and it yeets 20 inches forward and just rips, well, actually it's -1 damage, so it like can really do some work. Let's just fly it up. Anything that flies, you get dev wounds. Anyway, it's just super fun. So I think a Helldrake is like yeeting Helldrake is so entertaining. Mauler Fiend and a couple of Venom Crawlers. So good core of shooting, good core of like scoring points. And this is something that I really like. Like the Nurglings are great. I don't think you need 2 units of 3, but I know you love your Nurglings. The big unit of pinks is great for like holding your expansion objective and just kind of getting in the way. And the blues are the key. They are infiltrate and -1 leadership bubble, which I think is very useful. And I really do like a big unit of blues. I could see you dropping, say, the pinks for like the changeling or the scribes, and I think that might work really well in how you're trying to build this list. Having a loan up, giving you something to play the game with. But that would be my food for thought. I like everything here. This is really good. And then this, I think, is where you have a lot of points to play around with. But as you play, don't change it too much. Just tweak things here or there, right? And I think you'll add, it'll be really good for you as well. When I played Dark Angels last week, Assault Marines felt like the biggest threat to me. Yes, Jump Back Intercessors are the biggest threat to elves. Moving on, too much coffee. Reaper's Wager. Archon with Arc Raider Soul Trap. Not sure which sword is better. If you're running them with Cabalites, the Huskblade is great. If you're doing with Incubi, the Agonizer. Yeah. Lady Malice, Lilith, Drazar, and Solitaire. I don't think you need Drazar. I think Drazar can be a unit of Hellions, just as a food for thought. 2 Chronos, both with Vortex. They are Urian now. Nice. Hellions, all Glaives, 2 units of Mandrakes. Unit of Witches, yep, and then a unit of Warriors. I have been taking 20 Cabalite Warriors in all my lists with Reaper's Wager, mainly because I have like a whole bunch of like options when it comes to transports, and I play like musical chairs with transports, because I like having Archon in a Raider with Arc Raider to sticky my expansion, and then 5 Witches, and then I need another 2 Venoms, 1 to split the Witches, and then 1 to split the other Cabalite squad, so I have 5 with like relevant guns and stuff with Malice on my home objective, and then like 5 numpty Cabalites in a Venom, right? So it's like, so I've got like a lot of options. Yeah. Reavers? I think 1 times 6 is fantastic. Like, I know you're a little, like, yes, it's annoyingly over. If you were to drop Drazar, you know, you'd get those points, and then you could run the 2 times 5 if you wanted to. Scourge with Darkon, Scourge with Haywire, Ravager with 3 Disintegrator Cannons. Interesting. Especially in Reaper's Wager. I would prefer... I guess you have the 2 Talos, so that's actually not a bad choice. And 2 Venoms. Yeah. Not sure about points efficiency with this list, but I like the damage output. Maybe it likes utility, lots of analysis paralysis. So I think analysis paralysis wise, like, you don't, like, Drazar is on his own, so honestly, I would drop him and put another unit of Hellions in, just like as a start. Just put more stuff, just more stuff. Or drop him and make 1 unit of Mandrakes 10. Believe me, you'll enjoy it once you start using it. As for the Ravager, he's good. I would take Dark Lances personally, especially if you have a Heat Lance on the Talos for some close stuff, but I like the Talos as well. And this is like a little bit more chonky than the list I usually play, but it is still a good list. And Reaper's Wager is very efficient, and I like it. So this is the kind of list I see could do quite well. But I would just kind of consider Drazar. Do you really need him? I don't think so. I don't think you need him at all. Sadly, because I love my Drazar. He's been a staple in my lists for so long. Moving on, we have Flowers. Now, Flowers, you had a great question, so let's see what your list is. Cartel, Webway Owl, Leech Bite, Malice, Drazar, Lilith. Good combination of characters. With Incubi, no Venom. Cows with Venom. No Venom with Malice. Venom. Raider. Yeah, cool. Lilith in a big 10 strong Lilith in a Raider makes me nervous because there's a lot of points invested in one little unit. She will come out, attack one thing, and then die. I don't like that with Lilith. I like her bouncing in and out as well. So there they are here. So 2 units of Cabalites, all heavy weapons, 1 Phantasm, 1 Icon. I just go 2 Phantasms personally. All the weapons and the Witches, 1 Raider, 2 Venoms. Yep, makes sense. 1 unit of Hellions with Stun Claw. Yep. 2 times 5 Incubi, 2 times 5 Mandrakes. Ravager, just a unit of Reavers. 3 units of 5 Scourge of heavy weapons. And I would drop the unit of Scourge with Haywire, as I've talked before, and I would put in a unit of 6 Reaver Jet Bikes, or I'd put in, basically turn this into 6 Reavers to have 1 aggressive unit, which saves you 10 points. Saves you 10 points, and then you'd have 80 points left over, so you could actually turn 1 unit of Mandrakes into 10. Like, or put in a Carbine Scourge. Like, there's wiggle room within the list, but I like where your head is at, and that's what I would look at. Just drop a unit of Scourge with Haywire, or make them Blasters or Dark Lances, so you have 3 of them. Other than that, the Ravager, test the Ravager with Disintegrator Cannons. I think you will be pleased in Cabalite Cartel. I think it is the way to do it. Malice is such a cool model. I know. I love that she's making it into so many lists, and I absolutely love it. But other than that, Flower, thank you so much for putting that list in. Flowers means a lot. Danny Cod says, this is my variation of my avatar list with more Falcons. I'm assuming you're thinking of this for Talavera. Dolor Doble. It's a War Host. Cool. I love War Host. I think War Host is better than Aspect Host. change my mind. I do think it is better, especially after hanging out with Folger for an entire week and picking his brain about it. Azran, Eldrad, Fugan, Lycus, Morgan Ra. Good. Void Reavers, good. Can't say bad to that. Wave Serpent, good. Dark Reapers, only one. Sure, with Malgan Ra. I hope you have a Tempest in there. Unit Dire Avengers with what's his face? 2 units of Falcons, 1 big brick of Fire Dragons, Banshees, Rangers, Striking Scorpions, and then 3 Spiders. This is a good list. I like the only thing I think I wish you had was Swooping Hawks. Where do you get Swooping Hawks from? Dropping Malgunra? Like, he's the one thing I would probably take out and be like, do you really need him? He is really good, but you have like Fugan. And I would try and squeeze in Swooping Hawks. Just a 5-strong unit. Just 5 strong to make use of the uppy downy deep strike. It's like just so useful to have if you're going for points at a tournament. The double Falcon is interesting. I do like the damage output of the Falcon because you can have like Azerman reroll wound rolls and then like Malgan Ra reroll wound rolls, and then everybody can get in and out of your transports every turn because you have so many like fire and fades and things. But it is very, I guess, CP hungry because you don't have an. Oh, you have Eldrad. That's fine. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. He does not need a Wave Serpent for the Fire Dragons. Well, I like Wave Serpents for the Fire Dragons. Like, that big break of Fire Dragons and a Wave Serpent is insane. I vote for Wave Serpent. I think Wave Serpent is excellent with Fire Dragons. You don't need it. You could run them around, like, rapid ingress them and stuff, but you could, like, in the odd game, having the Wave Serpent is better than not having the Wave Serpent. And in the odd game, you could be like, I'm going to put my Banshees in the Wave Serpent, right? With you don't have what's her face, Janezar, but you could put in another unit in there and just have a little combat unit in there if you wanted to, or in the Falcon, right? You could put, you have like transport capacity ability to do stuff, right? Paul, no worries. Okay, moving on. I like your list. Just try and fit in some Swooping Hawks if you can. Journeyman. First list for a team tournament. Reaper's Wager. Archon, Drazar, Lady, Lilith. Cabs, Witches, Raider, Venom, Hellions, Big Brick of Hellions, nice. Incubi, Mandrakes, Reavers, Scourge. So, I like it. A first list for team tournament. This is skewed enough. I would actually skew the opposite way and put 4 Haywires instead of Dark Lances. But if you're like in the Sacco side of things, you like the Dark Lances more than the Haywire. If you can skew a little bit more when you're going into teams. Personally, I would drop Drazar again. I don't think you need him. 85 points would give you like another unit of Mandrakes. Or you could, fiddle around with the Reavers a little bit, but you have lots of MSU, so this plays the game really well. I personally would try and put in another Venom, right? So you can do the triple Venom Raider combo that I do, which is have Malice on foot on your home to sticky, and then try and find like 15 points. Oh, is that what this guy is? Yeah, he's probably got the enhancement for Arch Raider, right? Arc Raider on there. And if it is teams, that's probably why you don't have any Harlequins. But overall, I think the Drazar or the extra Archon is a little redundant. So you could kind of get rid of those points and put those points in more trash to play the game. I would recommend a second unit of Mandrakes. And that would be my food for thought there, Journeyman. But I hope everybody's having a good day. Thanks a lot for hanging out. Make sure you leave a like on the video if you haven't already. Check the link down below for the Patron page and stuff. We still have a few more lists to go through. Kisme says, "Hey Skari, any better ideas against shoot swoop units than indirect fire? Speed. Get up quick and punch them in the face." Like, one of the best things you can do against Scourge is send the jump pack intercessors against them. Just yeet them forward and go punch them in the face. Wrath of the Rock. Ancient and Terminator Armor, Azrael, Judiciary, Lieutenant, Lionel Johnson. So we're talking about what you need. So you've got Lieutenant, check. Judiciary for fights first is good. Azrael is pretty good in Dark Angels. Ancient and Terminator armor with the Deathwing Assault, good for like this specific enhancement in the line. So lots of characters, but you didn't go overboard. And you took the Lieutenant with combat weapon, which in my opinion is good. Blade Guard Squad, Deathwing Knights, that's good, good. 2 Lancers, good for shooting, taking down tanks, good to have them. 1 Inceptor Squad, a Scout Squad, big unit of Inner Circle Companions, a Whirlwind, and a Callous Assassin. So uppy, downy, Callous Assassin, good. That means you don't really, you have the Scouts, uppy, downy Scouts, Infiltrate Scout, good. I don't think you need to run a 6-man Inner Circle Companions. I think you can get away with 3, honestly. The Blade Guard as well, so like a 3, or just make them 2 3-man Blade Guards. I feel like Blade Guards are just more consistent because they have that better invulse save, and they maybe don't punch as much, but it just keeps you around longer. As for the Lancers, they're good. They just kill tanks. So if you really need to kill tanks, that's great. But how do you deal with 1,000,000 infantry, right? You don't really have the intercessors, right? So you don't have something that has like 1,000,000,000 bolter shots, right? So if you drop like the Inner Circle Companions, you can put in like an intercessor squad for sticky objectives and 1,000,000 bolter shots, which I think would be really, really useful. Make that Whirlwind 2 JPI units. Yeah, you could also make the Whirlwind a couple of jump pack intercessor units. But I personally do like the Whirlwind. I like some sort of out of line of sight shooting. So Whirlwind would make it into my lists if I owned one. Or Desolation Marines, which are only like 10 points more. If you could find 10 points more and then put in, you know, a Desolation Marine unit, I would prefer a Desolation Marine because they will kill infantry, like hordes of infantry, and still shoot out of line of sight. So they're very good into this new, like, newfound Eldari meta or whatever. Moving on. Actually, let me just do something real quick here. Hold on one second. Just had to send a quick message. Okay. But other than that, I think that should help. Fever, forever scarred by the t-shirt cannon memes. Yeah, or the big Nerf gun memes. Bart says, hi, Scary. I started AdMech recently as my 2nd army. What do you think about this as an army to collect and start playing in GTs? Thank you as always. Love your content. Can't wait to see more Cabal Cartels videos. People love that Cabalite Cartel stuff, that's for sure. So, call me daddy. Mechanicus, so Cole, Marshall. In Hallowscreed. Good. Now, if you're doing Hallowscreed Battleclade, I would recommend trying to fit in a Dominus. A Dominus and then having a big unit of the, like, destroyer servitors, the little tracked servitors with the, is it the graviton guns or whatever, or the conversion beamers or whatever it is they have. They have like a gun that's really good and like little claws. That's very good in Hallowscreed. Very, very good. Deep Pocket AdMech. Hey, AdMech is not a cheap army to get. So you have 3 units of Vanguard and a unit of Rangers. I would do one Vanguard, 2 Rangers. So you don't need that many. But if anything, if you're just starting to collect it, I'd go 2 and 2 just to have the options, just in case they switch them around. 2 Scorpius Dune Riders, excellent choice. A couple of Skystalkers, excellent choice as well. The Servitor Battleclade, this is the Kill Team set. You only need 1. I don't think you need 2. Infiltrators, 2 units of 5, good. Ruststalkers, 2 units of 10, good. And then 3 Disintegrators. Good. You don't need the 3. I think you go 2. You can go 1 unit of 2 Last Chickens. And then if you had some points to mess around with, I'd see about getting the Servitors in. But as a starting thing, this is you're going to be using a lot of these units when you play AdMech. For as long as you play AdMech. So it's a good place to start if you want to start collecting them, painting them, building them, getting them ready for your army. Cole for sure, 1 Marshal at least, but 2 is not bad. The infantry is very important for the battle line stuff. A couple of Dune Riders, and then a lot of stuff that plays the game, right? Which is this stuff right here. You know, I don't think you need the 2 kill team sets though. I think you can do 1. That's like my general overview. If you can fiddle around with it to put in the servitors, the battle servitors, I think that would be really good for you with a Dominus, which gives them like once per game feel no pain, or I don't know, makes them like durable once per game. They can advance and shoot. They go around the board. They have their they're really good with like their shooting and combat. They're a very annoying unit to get rid of when you just flood the board with a bunch of these things. And I love infiltrators and ruststalkers. They're fantastic. I don't think you need you could 2 units of 10 is fine. I think you can get away with 1 unit of 10 ruststalkers. And then try and get some Dune Riders. No, not the Dune Riders. The chickens. The chickens. Just get the little chickens with last cannons. Those things are really good. Couple of units, 2 of them. 1 or like 2 to 4 of them. They're always good to have. Moving on. Jeff. What's going on, buddy? Hey, boss. Hello. I have an Iron Man tournament in a couple of weeks. 5 rounds in 1 day. I know. I haven't done one yet, but I feel it'd be really fun. I need something that's simple to play without a ton of rules interactions between units. I forget that stuff. In our local meta, we have a number of knight players, both flavors, lots of skilled marine players, very skilled Tau players, very skilled Death Guard players, and custodies. Well, if you're there, of course you're going to have skilled Death Guard players. See what I did there? I'm trying for a mix of efficient units and trading pieces. So we've got, you're doing Virulent Victorium, good. That's probably the most competitive detachment, in my opinion. Lord of Contagion, Lord of Virulence. If you wanted to go, like, I will tell you right now, like, from my heart, if you want to play 5 games and not get tired over 5 games, you take Morty and a Demon Prince, and that's like half your points. I would literally start with that. I'd go Morty, Demon Prince, and then just a bunch of stuff, like just a couple of Terminator units with Lords of Contagion, and that's kind of how I do it. But this list is good though. Like if you want to go to win, this is a good list. 3 Lords, couple of Spawn, Death Shrouds to make people anxious, a couple of load drones, Blight launcher drones, Mephitic launchers, and a couple bulk swords. Like this is a very good all-rounder list. You have lots of stuff. You can play the game well. This is not a bad list. The like if anything, I would drop a unit of Death Shroud and one of the Lords, probably the Lord of Virulence, right? And I would probably put in like more Poxwalkers and Spawn or a Rhino with like 5 little dudes inside or something, like just to have more trash, right? As you were saying, just to have more stuff to play the game. But overall, this is a great sort of like core starter set for it. And I can't wait. We have our game on Friday, so bring whatever you're going to play, and we'll. Oh, is it today? No, we have our game today on Friday. This is Friday. We played today, so we'll talk in person as well. Anakim says, "Hello, Scary. Thank you for your work. It would be grateful for some thoughts on this list. I've only tried it once and lost against a stat check Necron list. I can probably play it better. Do you think it has legs? Do you see any flaws? Many thanks and advice." Peekaboo Drukari, which by the way was your son, came up with the name Peekaboo. Adorable. Drazar, Malice, Archon, Kabalite Cartel. 3 units of Kabalite Warriors, love it. Incubi, 2 units of Mandrakes, 3 Scourge with Dark Lances, Raider, Venom, Reavers, and 2 Kronos. This is a very good all-rounded list. I like that you have enough Raiders and Venoms to split all your cabs and use them effectively. I love that you have a big unit of Incubi. I love that you can use it as a hammer. I love that you have Mandrakes to play the game. I love that your Scourges are all Dark Lances. I love that you have at least 1 unit of Reavers to just go in and be annoying. If anything, I would drop Drazar and put in a unit of Hellions. Like, that's kind of where my head's at. Just because you already have so many units and characters, just put another thing that plays the game in. And if you have, and that's pretty much it. It's designed to be exposed as little as possible. Good, check. Hence Peekaboo, help in, help out, nice. 1 Archon Warlord needs to stand back to contract. Good. There's no stop Overwatch strat. Like if you drop the Leech Bite plate on the Archon and drop Drazar, you can add like 5 more Incubi, for example, if you wanted to. There's no stop Overwatch, correct. So Malice is there, good. Yep. 2 Archons with Malice going Venoms. 5 Cav jumping out, shooting, potentially fighting, then jump back in again. Excellent. That's how you play this list. This tries to be a very uninteractive list. Shoot, that's just Dark Eldar in general, unless you're playing Spectacle of Spite. Drazen 10 Incubi are a deterrent. Go in the Raider, reactive push back. I would actually put, like, I love, if you drop Draz, you can put an Archon with the Webway Owl, and then you can deep strike them and Rapid Ingress them for free. That's a really good combo. But other than that, I like the list. A couple of things, to kind of tweak, but Anakim, keep me posted on this. And it's like, this is a great core to start with as well. We've got, oh my gosh, so many more lists. I do have to speed run these. I do apologize because I am already late for a call. So Archon Morsan, Spirit Conclave, 1500 points for local league, Chaos, Grey Knights, and Tyranids. So Farseer, Spirit Seer, Avatar, Guardian Defenders, Wraithblades, Wraith Guard, Rangers, Scorpions, Warlock, Wraith Lord, Wave Serpent. So 1500 points, this is pretty good for 1500 points. I like that you do have the Rangers and the Scorpions. I think that keeps in the fight. Personally, I would probably drop one of the Wraith Lords to add in like Warp Spiders. I don't think I could play a game without Warp Spiders. But food for thought, you've got some punch in this. You got the Avatar, you got lots of big punch. I think you just need a couple more things to play the game with. So like Warp Spiders, Swooping Hawks, something like that, just to not have to use a big brick of something to like do a cleanse or whatever, which I think is probably one of the biggest issues I see with the list. Other than that, I hope you're having fun like painting them, collecting them, and I can't wait to hear more about them. So keep me posted on that. Zach, hello Scary, hope you're doing well. I'm going to my first ever GT this weekend, and I need your Dark Eldar wisdom. I'll get straight to it since it's the 16th list I've posted in the thread so far. Archon is leading, Incubi, Raider, 5 rifle cabs. TO's letting me use Malice redeploy. Raw, nice, I love it. So in a transport, Malice redeploy. Good, good. Drukari Reaper's Wager. Archon, Arc Raider, Warriors, Witches. That actually means you don't need that extra Venom and Cablite Squad, which is awesome. Mandrakes 10. Ooh, I like that. Scourges, Darklance Haywire. Good, because you're playing Reapers. Yep. Raider, Venom. 3 into Hellions. Reaver, 6 models. Good. A Kronos, and then a Talos. So I like it. You're running the Scalpels. I personally still... oh, is it Scalpels and Liquefier? It would be one Scalpel and the Twin Liquefier, right? So if you did that, then you're just hitting better in combat at less AP, less strength, and less damage. But at least you hit better. Good list overall. I like it. I like the other Solitaire. You don't have Drazar, so no notes. This is good. I like this list. This list would just means that you have to just practice a little bit. But the 3 Hellions are nice. And I like that you have the big units of Mandrakes. I would play with this list. Seal of approval. Pop. Thank you, Zach, for posting the list. That's really, really cool. Brimstone says, hello, Mr. Scary. This is my Custodes list. Whoops, I think I just messed that up. Did I just mess that up? Yes. Why did I click on that? Why did I press the buttons? This is my Custodes list. I added the 3 jet bikes and 4 prosecutors. With the points that were left over, I felt like this is a good pick. The bikes are a good mobile punch that would be hard to tie down with the captain. The prosecutor, a good action monkey to help screen out more of the board. I do have more list ideas, but this one I like more so far. What are your thoughts? Are these good additions? Would you go a different route? Well, like we discussed in our coaching call, I think these are great additions to your list, right? So you're playing Lions, Blade Champion, Shield Captain with a Lar Shield Captain with Superior Creation, a Shield Captain Jet Bike. Then we have 4 Guard. We've got 5 Custodians, 4 Wardens with Axilla, 3 Predators with Salvo Launchers, a Calidus Trank, 4 Prosecutors. Fantastic choice. And then you have the things that really make this list sing. The Callous Assassin, Draxus, that then goes with the Guard, a Battle Sister Squad and an Immolator to really increase the value of the Alaris Custodians, to give you sticky objectives, give you access to multi-guns. This is an excellent list. This is something Brinjar would use, okay? And like this is literally a list that I absolutely love. So I no notes. We talked about it. This list is great. And moving on to our last list, Michael says, hello, Scary. Here is my new list after Team's event with 5 big knights. I found it hard to play, so I have switched the style to be more durable. Let me know what you think. Thanks. So this is straight Imperial Knights. So your Spearheaded Arms, Defender Preceptor. It's a good choice of tanks. 3 Helverins, 3 Warglaves, so pretty standard. A Callous Assassin, an Immolator, and a Battle Sister Squad. I absolutely love the Sisters, the Immolators, and the Callous Assassin. Excellent addition in there. The couple of big knights, I guess you could kind of play around with what big knights you use, but the Defender is really good to give everybody a 4-up invul save. The Preceptor is really good at sort of like making the Helverins better because you can like pick a unit, you get reroll ones to hit or whatever it is, and then you kill it with Helverins, and then you pick another unit and then kill it with Helverins because it happens right away as you kill your like practice-y target. Callous Assassin for uppy downy, and then Immolator for to press buttons, stick your home objective, screen out the backboard. This is probably the best sort of version of Imperial Knights you're going to get. That's not just like a high skew, like 5 big knights that rush your home objective or whatever. And then with good use of your rule, you'd be very well pressed to do all this. And that is that. I don't think I have any notes to that. You've got 10 points left over, but like, what are you going to do other than like dropping a Warglaive or dropping like the Sisters and stuff like that? Like, there's not much you can do in terms of wiggle room. Well, folks, that is it for today. Hello, Darkja. What's going on? Thank you so much for hanging out, chat. We went over a bunch of stuff. We talked about LGT LVO. We did all the patron questions, and we did the list crunch. Thanks all for hanging out with me today. We will be back next week with another patron show. So if you want, so stay tuned in the Discord for the threads that will be opened up on Monday, so you can post lists and more questions, and we'll go over that as well. Thank you everybody for hanging out. Really appreciate all of you. And if I see you around an event, make sure you come say hi. I have been Skari, your grateful host. Signing off until next time. Skari out. Ah, the Dark Kin. Thank you, patrons. Links are down below. Bye, everybody.